Good morning, Mr. Lewis. I'm John Mumford. I'm coming to you from Fairfax, Virginia on the morning of December 29th, 2009. I'm coming to you at the recommendation of two of your longstanding colleagues, one Felix Kent from New York, whose counsel and work with you over the years has been significant, and Paul McKee of the Martin Agency in Richmond, Virginia, both of whom I met with in New York about a month ago to describe a project that my firm is undertaking under a nonprofit organization to turn the United States in a new direction in 2010. Both of them thought that you would have a significant interest in this and that there might be a role that you would consider undertaking in connection with it. By way of background, I have recently published a book called Broke: What Every American Business Must Do to Restore Our Financial Stability and Protect Our Future. This is a book about where America's headed in the 21st century. It grew out of 5 years of work that I had done starting in 2004 when my firm made a proposal to turn around the business systems of the U.S. Department of Defense. We were so concerned with the things that we found in the course of preparing this proposal that we decided to research an additional 23 issues of where the United States is headed and what condition we're in to be a world competitor in the 21st century. In brief, we found out that we are falling way short of our potential and we are poorly positioned to be a worldwide successful competitor in this new century. There was a German theologian by the name of Dietrich Bonhoeffer who said, just before he died in a Nazi war camp, "The test of character of a society is what it does for its children." Bonhoeffer made a very important statement. And when we use that as the measuring stick for where the United States is in the 21st century, we find that we are handing our children a mess in many, many ways. Our country is overcome with debt. Very soon, our interest costs will exceed our net available revenue at the federal level. 38 of our states are in or near bankruptcy, if not outright bankruptcy, certainly technical bankruptcy, as is the United States. We don't know how many of our 3,181 counties are in extremis as well, but many of them are because of the dramatic drop in property values that we've suffered in the last 2 years in this most recent economic meltdown. And of course, our 84,000 units of government at the local level, cities and towns, are in equally difficult financial circumstances. In short, our nation has 3 looming crises that it's facing. One is financial, that I've just described briefly for you. The second is demographic. 77 million baby boomers retired starting in the year 2007. 60% of the federal workforce of the United States is retiring starting in the year 2010. 40% of the state, county, and local workforces are retiring in 2010. Not only do we have the difficulty of replacing these people in their jobs, but we have the great difficulty of paying them the pensions that they have earned in the course of their public employment out of pension plans at the state, county, and local level that are massively underfunded and unable to meet what is largely a defined benefit for each of those retiring public servants. So if there's not other outside monies, as happened in 2009, to provide stimulus funding for firefighters, police forces, teachers, educators, administrators, and other public servants, we're going to see a dramatic drop in public services starting next year. The third crisis we have is what I would call a leadership crisis. That is, we have a permanent group of politicians who are worried about their careers, but they are not looking at these long-term trends, where the country is headed, and what its needs are to be truly competitive on the world stage in the new century. When I finished this book, I met with the Martin Agency on September 11th, 2009, to describe my findings and to seek their counsel on what we should do about it, because I had concluded at that point that this was not an exercise in writing a new book. 300,000 of them are written a year. Authors come and go on the U.S. book stage all the time. But this is more importantly an exercise in leading a turnaround of the United States that has three components. One is financial, the second is demographic, and the third is leadership, because we need a new set of leadership values if we are to overcome our financial problems and the massive problems of our population imbalances and loads on the public sector organizations that keep us orderly as a society. Now, where does your firm and you come into this picture? Our target group to make these problems clear is the U.S. Congress, that is, the House of Representatives and the Senate. And the group of people that we want to use to reach out to them are not adults who only get in the door if they make large political contributions, but students from the Washington area whom we want to equip with a questionnaire on 18 important issues covered in Broke, and we want them to visit the Congress every week to meet with either a member of Congress or a staff member to ask 5 simple questions about how the Congress views our potential and our solutions to these 18 issues. The 18 issues are, yes, debt, derivatives, inflation, and the things that go with our money. They also include how we're using our resources, because we've failed in 40 years to clean up the environment, to clean up our water the way we set the standards in 1972, to clean up our air as we said in the 1970s as well, to replant the forests that we've devastated in our country since its founding, more than 96% of them, and to clean up our act on the world stage as well. We're pouring $50 billion a year into foreign government aid. Oftentimes this money goes straight to Swiss bank accounts and not to help the people get a better standard of living. As a result, 1.2 million people around the world do not have clean water. They don't have adequate sanitation. They have no way of treating their wastewater. They're often drinking sewer water, which is loaded with disease and other bacteria that make their standard of living a matter of urgent survival day by day. And yet, we're pouring $50 billion a year into their governments who do not let these benefits reach the people that need them most. So we also have a new leadership ethic that is to be applied to the U.S. relations around the world and to improving the lot of the worldwide humanity community in the 21st century. Now, how are our students going to do this? As they visit the Congress, they're going to compete for scholarships, for video presentations of their interviews, for audio presentations of their interviews, and for written summaries of their interviews. The questions are standardized so that each group that visits a member of Congress, that is all 535 of them in the Senate and the House of Representatives, on each of these 18 issues, will post the results on a website that we already have developed and hopefully will come online in early 2010. We've got a leadership team that's going to work with these students in arranging the visits, in training them how to do an interview, how to dress, how to act, how to conduct themselves in the halls of government, and give them an unforgettable experience in understanding how the United States works at the national level. We're also going to work with other organizations that bring students from around the United States if we can get highly qualified students engaged in this process from outside the Washington area. Our target group is 2,000 students. We want to swarm the halls of Congress in the first 6 months of 2010 with students who are well-trained, well-behaved, and well-positioned to bring the issues of what we're doing to our children in the 21st century clearly to the attention of the members of Congress. We either need to have legislation that cures these problems, that is, starts repaying our debt, gets our environment cleaned up, gets 50 million jobs created, gets the infrastructure of the United States modernized, and positions us to be a competitor on the world stage in the 21st century. Good competition and a well-rounded, well-equipped United States is not a competitor on the world stage if it's broke. It is also not secure if it's broke. As it is, we're spending 5 times the amount of our income on running current government programs, and we just borrowed another $300 billion to keep us running through February of 2010. We're on a hand-to-mouth system of financial survival. These facts are not being brought to the American people, and it's time that we do so. Broke helps to do this, but the students will be the ones that make the point the best, because we want to pick a dozen or two of the most qualified students and make them the focus of a theater-length documentary that will show them doing these interviews, that will show the members answering them or the senior staff that they meet with, that will give the American people a picture of how the young of the nation's capital are looking for a better America in the 21st century and not looking to inherit a nation that is financially, socially, morally, and educationally broke. So, what would I like to do with Uniworld and with Mr. Byron Lewis? I would like for you to consider helping us with this education program for students. You can either do so by helping us film the events, develop the script for the documentary, or any other way that you can provide creative help to us. We have a leadership team that is as good as any in the Western Hemisphere, led by a young man who does education programs for the Congress for a nonprofit organization in Atlanta, Georgia. His name is Dean Nelson. We have 8 leadership team members who are qualified African American businessmen who will work with the DC public schools to train these students, to guide them through the interview process, to manage their scheduling, and to oversee the quality of their work so that they may be all competing for a scholarship pot that we hope to fund out of donations to this program. We'd also like for you to consider being involved with us financially if you're willing to do so. We have a nonprofit, America Future Watch Foundation, formed in 2005 for the purpose of underwriting this work and the theater-length documentary. We want to be the new issue of the 21st century in the minds of the American people. We want to wake them up as to where our country is headed and to create a new America, which if you read chapter 25 of the book, it is in America with a turnaround or America without a turnaround. If we don't turn around America, the 21st century nation that you and I have grown to love and live in our lives will not be there for our children. So this is an urgent plea for your involvement. I know that you would like for Felix and Paul to join me in a meeting with you in New York. Since we are on holiday hours in most of their organizations, I wanted to reach out by video first. And of course, I'll be delighted to join Felix and Paul when we can get them together to come to your New York office to describe the attached proposal that I'm going to send with the book and this video in more detail, and to see what we can do together to change America in the 21st century. Thank you so much for taking the time to hear this message, to consider these possibilities, and to let your imagination run wild on how the young people of America can lead the effort to turn it around in the 21st century. I am so grateful for your time. I'm so grateful for the great accomplishments of your career, and I think this opportunity is made to order at this moment for your organization as well as ours. Thank you again for your attention and for the opportunity to describe this work to you. Have a wonderful day, and we'll look forward to meeting with you at a convenient time in the coming weeks.